Hey guys, as always, thanks for stopping by. This is a tale of alleged police corruption and cover-up that all happened literally right outside that window. I can see these places from my studio window. I've been following it for weeks. I've now deep dived it. You are not going to believe some of this tale, and at the end, if you'll stay with me, I'll have my prediction on how I think this is going to play out. It's a mess. Again, you're not going to believe some of these parts, and I just cannot believe this is going on. And there's a lot of question marks surrounding it. This is going to be incomplete because the story builds and spreads. I'm going to give you an overview right now because I think the story needs to be told. Buckle up, here we go. This tale is brought to you by hiddenhybridholsters.com. Fantastic product, handmade in America, and they are all day comfortable. Check them out at hiddenhybridholsters.com. To each of y'all, thank you for every thumbs up if you choose to. Thank you. Again, this is going to be an incomplete tale. It begins with Cat Doll, is what the news is calling her. Her name's longer. I don't know how to pronounce it, but the news calls her Cat Doll. Former Special Assistant U.S. Attorney was brought to Johnson City as an investigator to investigate and root out violent and gang crime. She's an investigator. It's what she does, and she was funded by the Johnson City Police Department. Remember that. That aside, this is a couple years ago, beginning of the pandemic time. Michaela Evans, who has been totally public with all of this, was walking right out there one evening. She passed by a garage. Some folks were inside on a swing. She said going around, I don't know, something suspended from the ceiling. She said it looked like fun. She goes in to swing, and she meets a man that the press is calling Richard Vo. That is not his real name, but they're saying that to protect him. Why? No one knows. She blanks out, has no memory, but then falls 5 stories another block away out of Richard Vo's apartment. 5 stories down to concrete. She survives, terribly injured, and has to relearn how to walk again. It's been public. The police then execute a warrant, and they go there, and in that warrant, or in that apartment, they found a handwritten note in Richard Vo's apartment that had the title raped at the top and had 23 women's names, first names. Johnson City Police Department looked at the whole situation. They found ammunition that he wasn't supposed to have in the apartment because he's a convicted felon. And they ruled that it was not attempted murder, that it was medical is what they're calling it. Then Doll, remember, the U.S. Attorney, Special Assistant Cat Doll, she called for an investigation and she began to acquire and gather data. She met another woman in her yoga class that was like, yeah, we know that guy downtown, Richard Vo. People know who he is. She met another one when she went out for drinks with somebody at a restaurant. And people are like, yeah. All of this aside, even now, like people on Facebook and social media, that people are like, yeah, people have known this guy for years and known what he was up to. So, Doll asked for an investigation. The Johnson City Police Department, killed her contract, and she has now sued the Johnson City, or the city of Johnson City, because of this entire situation. Now, because of this investigation and looking at that ammunition, Johnson City Police Chief Carl Turner, he said that he would be retired at the lake before they had enough evidence to go after Richard Vo. This is unbelievable. Someone in the police department also suggested that Cat Doll should go on a date with Richard Vo and then they'd be down there in an hour to pick her up. The lawsuit calls him Richard Vo. Now, allegedly, his name is all through social media. It's super, super easy to find. The best place that I could find for a total of all of this stuff put together was on the Tennessee Lookout, and they have a copy, a PDF that's embedded in that article on the actual lawsuit. So Cat Doll has sued the city of Johnson City, specifically suing the police department and the chief of police, and then 2 or 3 officers, and they are not named. It alleges that he, Richard Vo, drugs and rapes women. You'll see the number 10, that there's been 10 women that have come forward. You'll see 13, you'll see 20, you'll see 23 and 25. There's a lot of different areas where information's coming in. One of, and this is in the lawsuit, Cat Doll said that one of the Johnson City investigators said that he, in his 20 years on the force, I've only encountered one real rape. And then he allegedly made disparaging comments about the way that one of the alleged victims was dressed. So this builds. The Johnson City Police Department does get an indictment for the arrest of Richard Vo. They go down there. Now you're going to hear different tales. Some are going to say when they got to his building, because he's up on the 5th floor, that they called from the bottom. Some say they called through a door. But what we do know is that Richard Vo was tipped off that he was going to be arrested, and he immediately fled. In the PDF, and I don't know who is supposed to do the redaction of the name, but in the Tennessee Lookout on page 14, the official release refers to the alleged rapist as Williams. That's the same name that everybody on. It's easy to find. You can find all of it. Who he is, where he worked, what he looks like. It's all out there, but none of it's in official stuff. It's all still in social media, and that's part of the problem. Is why are they protecting this guy? Well, it's interesting. In the court document, it says that allegedly Richard Vo, the alleged rapist, has a corrupt relationship with the Johnson City Police Department. Those are the words that are used. Johnson City has now asked for a third-party investigation to come in and look at the allegations against the Johnson City Police Department. Richard Vo is currently at large, but don't worry, Johnson City Police Department is searching for him, and the U.S. Marshal Service is also looking for him as well. What does Johnson City have to say? The actual city of Johnson City, not the police department. Johnson City manager says this. This is unbelievable. Welcome to Johnson City. Johnson City manager Kathy Ball said, quote, "It is understandable that some in our community may be alarmed by recent allegations against the Johnson City Police Department." Close quote. Yeah, Kathy. Yeah, we kind of are. A little bit. She went on to say, quote, "We have confidence in our police department and want our citizens to as well. We promise to be transparent and accountable." Close quote. Me. That's good. Okay. All right. Okay. Back to Kathy. The JCPD has met 450 professional standards since 1993 to maintain national accreditation. Part of my problem with all of this is, okay, you've got an alleged serial rapist that people at the yoga studio and at restaurants and on social media, like you jump on there and people are like, yeah, I've known the guy. We all know that he does this stuff. In the middle of all of that, what does the Johnson City spokesperson say? Back in 93, we met some requirements to be accredited. They mentioned 29 years ago is what they have to say about this. Incompetence, possibly. I don't know the right words. The lawsuit says this is that Carl Turner, the police chief, and police officers under his command ignored or downplayed repeated allegations of rape against a felon, mocked the complaining women, mocked Dahl, tipped off the felon to a pending federal indictment, and allowed him to escape. He's at large. He has a relationship that we don't know with the Johnson City Police Department. People have been protesting a little bit. It's getting talked about in social media. My prediction on what's going to happen, the taxpayers will have to bail everyone out. Taxpayers will have to, because it looks like possibly that Ms. Dahl was wrongfully terminated. That's really what this lawsuit's about. It's about wrongful termination and them cutting her funding, and she lost her job over it. Taxpayers will have to bail them out. Absolutely. That's what's going to happen. Let me know what you think. If you want to search out on internet, you're going to find all sorts of crazy stuff. But it happened outside this window. I want to talk about it today. I'll be following it as it goes along. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.